Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Today we are back. It is a Thursday. We are at August. Today we're talking all about flow state and how it's meant to be enjoyable, right? It's meant to be such a fun and effervescent task that you just go and you lose your sense of self and you know where you are, and you're just enjoying the moment. You're enjoying doing that activity, so everything else fades in the background. It's this wonderful thing, and a lot of scientists have talked about it. They use nerdy statements like transient hypofrontality, and they'll tell you to activate the autonomic nervous system and all this type of stuff. But what I would first of all get you to understand, that you gotta make your flow state fun for you, man. You gotta make it so supremely fun and enjoyable for you. You have to have love and joy, right, as top states in your mind, and gratitude, right? Fuse all of those three in a triad, right? And keep those at the top. And all the other emotions are begging and praying and giving offerings to the gods of the emotions that are joy, love, and gratitude, right? And so this will actually pull your success stream out of you, because think about it, you're repatterning yourself, right? You're giving yourself these micro doses of love, micro doses of gratitude throughout the day, micro doses of joy throughout the day. And you're doing this so you gain almost like a vortex, right? And you enter this success vortex every day. And once you do that, like, the flow is automatic, it's natural, it's not you second guessing ever, right? The moment you try to force it or second guess or doubt yourself, right? Add extra hesitation, add extra layers, right? You can add extra layers for complexity if you're bored in a task, right? But then you gotta have really good self-awareness, right? And self-knowledge. So it's kind of about knowing what works for you the best, and then going about it in your very specific lane, your very specific way, okay? So this is how I would approach it if I were you. I would take a look at my craft, right? And I would notice what tasks fill me up with light in life, and which tasks deplete me, make me feel lame, right? Make me just feel sluggish. Oh, I don't want to do that. What? Why would I do that, right? Make a list of these things, because then you will really start to understand that what is it about these negative tasks or tasks that I'm aversive to? What is it teaching me? What is it there to actually bring me through? Like, is this an initiation, or is this actually something bogus that I don't want in my life, right? So knowing that will actually help you, right? To get into flow, you got to know what the anti-flow is. Where are your distractions? What are your blind spots? What are your random things that pull you away from the present moment, right? Is it some past memories? Is it some future worries? What is it that keeps pulling you and moving you towards breaking out of your mission, your core mission, right? Your dharma, your Tao, your God-sent ikigai, right? Whatever it is, like, you got to know what your purpose is and hold on to it and not let anything sidetrack you from it. That's the beauty of this thing, right? When you can actually embrace that quality instead of judging that quality. Because the moment you judge it within yourself or somebody else, you are restricting their capability, right? You're restricting the limitless nature of that being by judging them. Therefore, when I start to judge somebody, I just start getting more curious and I start asking better questions. And then I learned that actually this person, like, has an inner depth to them, right? Now, I don't want to ever just look at somebody and be like, oh, they're lame. What I'm reacting to really is their shadows, or I'm reacting to the energy structures underneath them. I'm not reacting to the authentic them, lit up, aligned. That would be perfectly awesome, right? To interact with someone who knows themselves as completely tapped in, very embodied, feels the sense of comfort, feels the sense of Godfidence within them, right? They know they have a way forward. They understand themselves, so they have faith in their actions, right? And their words, and there's an alignment there, right? So I respect that, but I also see the pain, and I feel the pain of the individual, the suffering that the human is going through. I feel that pain empathetically, and sometimes it sucks, sometimes it feels heavy. But what I've noticed is I do not have to create this storyline that feeling something must mean fusing. That's not the case, right? Feeling something does not necessarily mean fusing with something. And I've got to know that difference. That discernment is actually very important as an empath when you're entering flow, right? Because you don't want to completely just merge into that subculture so much that you start forgetting your core beingness, right? And this was what happens. Egregores take over, you know? Some other hierarchy of some brand, some company is eating away at your soul, man. And that's not cool. You got to be the owner of that thing, you know? You got to own and take ownership of your life. Like, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I do it, right? And if you're overthinking and second guessing yourself, then guess what? You're just creating those circumstances for yourself now. So now it's time to really understand that, okay, I have something that I really enjoy. Let's say that you're a dancer. You love dancing. Why aren't you dancing every day, right? Some days it feels heavier. Some days you're like, I don't want to go. Some days you're like, the traffic's too much. Other days you're creating all these defense mechanisms to not be in your zone. Do you guys realize that? We create defense mechanisms to not be in our present moment, in our present state. Because the moment we look inwards, we see the darkness and the heaviness, and it comes up. And a lot of people can't face their own shadows, right? They can't face their demons. So what they do is they resist everything, right? And then they start even resisting the world, right? If you notice someone completely out of the flow, they will hate everybody and everything, right? They'll go completely nihilistic, anarchist, batshit wild, right? This is why it's important for you to understand that even though I'm an outlaw and an outcast, I'm still going to create my own pathway. I'm going to blaze my own trail in a sense. I'm going to be a pioneer in this specific field. Like, that's how I've approached flow state, right? That's how I've approached this peak performance industry, if you want to call it that, even though it's a peak presence industry. It is actually not about the performance. It's not about faking it and trying to make yourself into a character and wear this social mask and, like, you know, I have to hire someone to consult my image, right? To hire image consultants, I hire a PR team, hire people that, you know, protect my image and stuff like this. Yo, why not just be you, right? What is all this protection? What is all this, you know? And maybe in the future we might need like protection from like someone using our stuff for AI or whatever, like having some law for that or something. But irregardless, like, I think it's so magnetic when somebody can tap into their talent and their gift that they're here to give the world. And it's just fully them, only them, and nobody else can replicate that. Like, that is such a beautiful thing, right, in terms of flow state. So this is why I'm telling you, flow state is all about that joy, all about that, like, really understanding that excitement, right? And understanding, like, there's two ways in the path of life, right? So if we look at life as this lust, right, simply that, all of life is you just channeling your lust, your joie de vivre, right? Your zest for life, that vitality through your physical body, right? The you could say the libido is, as Freud would call it, but it's more so that orgone, as Reich would call it, right? This living, breathing complex of this lust, this emotion, this energetic thing within us, right? And the way that it's held within our bodies, or the way that that energy cannot travel or get stuck, starts to cause pathology and you know, neurotic tendencies, and you know, it starts to reshape and mutate the eros within us and things like this, right? So why not, instead of demonizing the lust, instead of putting it in a box, instead of thinking it's this bad thing, that it's one of the 7 deadly sins, that's one of the, you know, awful things, why do we not look at that as that is the life force, that is the energy, the substructure that I need to actually get my thoughts flowing and out, right? So instead, I want you to try to view the energy of this, just being turned on by something. Like, it doesn't even have to be sexual. You guys get what I mean? I mean, like, that energy of just like, whoa, that's awesome, right? And that excitement, right? Think about this. There's 2 ways that usually the spiritual communities, at least, deal with lust, right? One is a complete renunciation, escapism, celibacy, abstinence, cut myself off from this sexual thing. I don't need it. I don't want it. right? Whatever it is, it's not for me, right? Which is a very rare few, right? Brahmacharya, people kind of following that path and so forth. And then there's another way, and then that's the tantric way, right? And the tantric way, they start to accept everything as a part of the spiritual path, and it's more about the transmutation aspect. So they're using the poison and they're making it into nectar, right? So in a certain way, they're using the lust, they're making it into love. They're transforming it within them into a heart spaciousness, an expansion feeling, right? A sublimation into their creativity, right? More life force, more expressiveness as a tool, right? So this is such an interesting way of I know I'm talking about sex transmutation right now, but it's so important to even understand flow state through this lens of this orgone and this energy system, right? So once you make flow state so fun for you, ridiculously fun, I mean the type of fun that you used to have as a kid, where you didn't used to overthink it all, right? You and your friends just went to the arcade, you had a blast, right? And you came back, right? You played some video game, you dominated your friend, and you laughed in his face, right? And there was another moment where, something so hilarious or funny happened, right? And you can reflect on that memory, and it actually brings you chuckles. It actually brings you the reservoir of those happy memories within your system. You still have that in your access, right? Now, let me give you some ideas of what you can do with your rituals, right? First thing is lock your room, create a container in a space, and prime yourself to be in that zone. Right now, I love to combine a combination of movement, breath, chanting, imagery, okay, all of it at once, right? If you can use all of it at once and create a short practice for yourself, right? Just 15 minutes. 15 minutes a day, if you just roll out your yoga mat, right? And you create a 15-minute practice for you, where you just allow your body, breath, movement, and you just allow complete and utter expression. You guys get this? Don't hold yourself back. If you need to growl on that yoga mat, you do it. Get what I mean? If you need to stretch, you do it. If you need to tap your body, you do it. If you need to yell, you do it, okay? Anything that comes up as a byproduct of, okay, maybe this will actually help me, do it. Okay, and I'm telling you, this practice is so good because it's so easily adjustable and adaptable, and it's so portable. You can do this anywhere, right? As long as you're not worried about what people are thinking or looking at you during your practice, right? Then that breaks you out of the zone, right? Imagine you're on a snowboarding competition, you're looking at all the other snowboarders, you're gonna crash, yo. So that's not the point, right? The point is that you have found something that is sacred to you, and so you're going to feed it with life force energy. Feed it with your life, right? Feed it with my life, and then it's becoming greater, right? So like I said in the podcast, you got to feed a positivity egregore that overrides and devours the negativity of the egregores that are in your life, right? Like a random group that's bullying you, a random person that's has bad intentions and is trying to sell you on their program, right? These types of people, they'll get swallowed up by the egregore of positivity if you fed it for so many years, let's say, right? Have you been feeding a memory or a positivity loop in your mind ever? Has that ever been a case, or are you only feeding the negative storylines? If you're only feeding the negative ones, now it's time to change that shit up, okay? We are the upward spiral gang, which means every single day keeps getting better and better, okay? It's compound interest, so you add a little bit into your spiritual path, a little bit of breath work, a little bit of meditation, a tiny micro dose of gratitude, a tiny micro dose of this other thing, and slowly, your days become epic, right? Deity yoga is fused with your day-to-day now, right? It's like I'm in the checkout aisle and Janus is showing up, or, Padmasambhava is showing up, and I'm like, yo, welcome, guys, What are you here to teach me, right? It gets me so excited. And so this is the thing. This is how you want to optimize your path like this. The more fun, effortless you can make it, the more you can understand that as I naturally express myself, you see, I've realized this a few days ago that God is rewarding people for their authenticity. Have you guys noticed this too? I'm noticing this so much right now that the moment that I try to stop and start or create this kind of dynamic of I don't know what to say, or I don't know what to do, or maybe I'll say it wrong, that's the moment that it all fades away, and then there's no views, no eyes or whatever, and then the moment that I'm in it. I'm in that authenticity. I'm in that stream, that wave, right? I'm just a part of the noise that is already in the world, right? This is just another video for some people, but for others, it's like they needed to hear it, right? So it's like, it's all one code, right? And if you can work with this, you can understand it. You can optimize this for your own speed. You can optimize this for your pacing, right? So yeah, anyway, try this practice, okay? 4-second inhale and say here. Exhale 6 seconds out through the mouth. Now, let's do it a couple times. Here. Now. Here. Now. Very good. Now you're noticing through this cyclical breath, there's a calming agent happening, right? There's kind of a waterfalling sensation, a feeling of relaxation flooding through your body. Now, as you're doing this, you can add little micro movements to it, okay? So that means inhale, shoulders a bit up. Exhale, bring them down, right? What else can I do? I can do a mudra, okay? I can do a stretch, okay? I can do primal hops. I can start tapping, right? I can start moving my neck, okay? I can start doing so many cool things with just that intention, or even some words, right? So I'm chanting the words, like even if I use Ho'oponopono with my breath, right? Thank you. Exhale, I love you. Please forgive me. Exhale, I'm sorry. Right? So even if you can use any kind of chant, mantras, and you optimize it, you synchronize it with your breathing patterns, now you're really chimed into this flow state essence, right? Your mind, body, spirit complex are going to be connected as one unit, right? One single stream, one universe, one sound, right? And that is the primordial Om that is living through your beingness, okay? If you just close your eyes and start chanting, daily chanting, we learned this from Nixa the other day, who I channeled, right? It's very powerful, that video, that transmission, that channeling. So if you go ahead and, make sure that you become an adept, okay, to get access to that, because it was very powerful, and I really think that you should catch up on it. Anything else that's coming through is, once you try these different practices, right, like I said, you just have the yoga mat out, you just try all of these different ways to get into the zone for you. And then you're really like working towards creating your own style with it, right? Creating your own unique codes that you can pull from these practices, right? The more you can tap into your authenticity and explore your idiosyncrasies, the more epic your journey will start to unfold and become. And if you have this mentality of like, listen, if entities show up, I'm gonna make them laugh hysterically, right? That's such an awesome attitude, right? Think about that. Like if hey, it's showtime all the time. I'm always being watched by some beings. So what? Let him watch, let him glorify me, right? So what? Okay? They're just reading my energetic structure. They don't really know me, right? And if they think they know me, they got it twisted, because I'm connected to such a powerful family of spirit guides who we call the Primal Sutra Nexus, right? And that knowingness also helps, right? That knowingness also helps. So when you lock in, just make sure you know your lock-in protocol, right? Give yourself micro oscillations, different asanas that you do, different movements that you do, different ritual sets, right? When you're surfing, you do surfing sets, right? So that's how flow state actually works, is that it's kind of like a temporary dial, right? The stop and start that creates this bridge to momentum. So you can always reapply and recouple back into the flow state with just your intention alone, right? Like if I'm working on a project and I go on a little break, in that break, I will be able to unwind and unblock any of the blocks that are coming up during that break, right? But if that break gets on and you start doom scrolling and you start doing something that's like taking you out of your mind and into that random activity, then of course it's going to be distracting to you, right? So what do you got to do? You got to treat the kind of movie theater of your mind as a meditation. Okay, so whatever annoying thoughts from this morning, from a past life, from random people or teachers you've heard growing up, all of those annoying thoughts, right? If you can just have them be, right? Let the static do what it needs to do, and then zoom out of it. It's almost like you're watching, you know, like a movie theater screen is being like pulled like this, and the movie theater is elongating. Right? So the screen is becoming very tiny and tinier and smaller and smaller. Just like that, you can do that with your memories, right? You can actually edit and Photoshop your experiences and symbols, and you can edit your subconscious during these sleepy states. And that's what I highly recommend that you try out, okay? When you're feeling kind of drowsy or, in this state like, I want to sleep, I want to... Affirmations, like look stuff up, start tapping into your vision board or mind movie, right? During that time, start, drawing sigils, start doing different things that impress into your subconscious that this is the case, right? Listen to a very intellectual audiobook before sleeping and wake up the next morning feeling like a genius, right? Because your subconscious knows that. You see what I'm saying? So this is so powerful, man. Once you get the conscious subconscious tilt of this thing and how to work it together, it's really powerful too. But irregardless, thank you so much for tapping in. I hope this video helps you out today to help you with lock-in mechanics. And if you have any further questions, you can always ask me personally, and I can help you more so within your specific context. Okay, so let's get it today. Upward spiral, gang. May we never be the same again. Let's get it. Upward spiral. Boom.